Good morning, students. Today I'm going to revise how to prepare nitric acid in laboratory and how to manufacture nitric acid by Oswald process. To begin with, laboratory preparation of nitric acid. What are the raw materials, or let's say the reactants needed? Raw material, either you can take chili saltpeter or you can take niter. Chili saltpeter is sodium nitrate and niter is potassium nitrate. You react chili saltpeter with concentrated sulfuric acid at a temperature below 200 degrees Celsius. You get an acid salt, that is sodium hydrogen sulfate, and vapors of nitric acid. Similarly, potassium nitrate, when heated with concentrated sulfuric acid at a temperature below 200 degrees Celsius, gives you potassium hydrogen sulfate plus vapors of nitric acid. Now, the vapors of nitric acid are condensed to a light yellow liquid under running cold water. That means it is collected in a chilled flask. All glass apparatus is used since nitric acid vapors attack rubber, parts, cork, etc. Why? Because nitric acid being highly corrosive in nature. Now, how do I manufacture nitric acid on a large scale? What is the name of the process? Oswald's process. There are 3 steps during the manufacture of nitric acid by Oswald process. Step 1. It takes place in a catalytic chamber, and you can also call it catalytic oxidation of ammonia. Catalytic oxidation of ammonia. So ammonia gas is reacted with plenty of air or oxygen in presence of a catalyst platinum at a temperature of around 800 degrees Celsius. Ammonia gets oxidized to nitric oxide plus water vapor is given off. So you have obtained nitric oxide. Second step is taking place in the oxidation chamber. Nitric oxide is being oxidized at a temperature of around 50 degrees Celsius to yield or produce nitrogen dioxide. And the third step is taking place in the absorption tower. You are dissolving this nitrogen dioxide gas in water in presence of oxygen to produce nitric acid. So there are 3 steps, and you see one thing in common. In all the 3 steps, you see oxygen is needed. So plenty of air is taken because all the 3 reactions are oxidation reaction. Nitric acid is unstable towards heat and it is hygroscopic in nature. Now, before I begin with sulfuric acid, I would ask you to learn or memorize these equations so that when you're asked to write it down during the exam, you can write it correctly. So do memorize the reactions. Good morning, students. I hope you are following the lessons closely. Just now, I am going to start with sulfuric acid. The molecular formula is H2SO4. It's commonly called all of vitriol, and you might have heard in some books it's also called king of chemicals because of its widespread use. How do you manufacture sulfuric acid on a large scale or by, let's say, for industrial purpose? It's done by contact process. Contact process. Now, there are 4 steps during the manufacture of sulfuric acid by contact process. Step 1 is production of sulfur dioxide. Either you can go for oxidation of sulfur, burning sulfur in air, or you can go for roasting of iron pyrites. So sulfur when burnt in air, it gives you sulfur dioxide. Similarly, roasting, heating in the presence of oxygen, iron pyrites, leads to the formation of ferric oxide and sulfur dioxide. So in the first step, you have obtained sulfur dioxide gas. Step 2 is taking place in catalytic oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide. So it is a catalytic oxidation. Sulfur dioxide reacts with oxygen gas in presence of a catalyst vanadium pentoxide, or you can choose platinum also. At an optimum temperature between 400 to 500 degrees Celsius, it gives you sulfur trioxide gas and heat energy is liberated. So it is an exothermic reaction also. Now I have obtained sulfur trioxide. Instead of dissolving sulfur trioxide in water, I go for conversion of sulfur trioxide into oleum, which is also called pyrosulfuric acid. SO3 sulfur trioxide is reacted with 98% concentrated sulfuric acid to give oleum, that is H2S2O7. Step 4 is dilution of oleum with calculated amount of water. Why calculated amount of water? So as to produce sulfuric acid of desired strength. Oleum is dissolved in calculated amount of water to produce sulfuric acid. Now let me make it very clear why sulfur trioxide is not dissolved directly in water. Sulfur trioxide does not dissolve in water satisfactorily, and it gives extremely exothermic reaction. As such, it forms a mist of tiny droplets of sulfuric acid, and you might get physically this sulfuric acid, it might splash on your face, so you might get hurt. There can be accidents. So you dissolve sulfur trioxide in concentrated sulfuric acid to obtain oleum, and oleum is dissolved in water to produce sulfuric acid. Please learn each and every equations here so that you can write the correct balance equation when asked during the exam. That brings us to the end of today's class. Thank you.